Welcome to Ignite Success with First Coast Women. I'm Snowden McFall, your host, professional speaker and author. Ignite Success is all about women. And here you'll learn from terrific women who kindle new ideas, spark change, and fire up our community. We have a terrific show for you today where you're going to learn skill sets and tools that you can apply to your families, particularly how to get home health care for your aging parents, how to get your child in college in a way that is affordable for both of you and highly successful for your child. And you're going to learn how to tap into the master artist within you. And I'm going to teach you some tools on setting boundaries, saying no, and asking for help. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Ignite Success.
Hey, let me tell you about my friend Craig O'Neill. He's the official photographer here at Buzz Media. He specializes in commercial photography for all those kind of needs. Check him out online at CraigO'NeillPhotography.com. And if you're lucky, you get a sweet lid like I have.
Welcome to the Fuel Your Fire segment. This week we have two women who are experts in their field, and they're going to share with you all the different things you need to know about keeping your senior loved ones at home and how to pay for that. So with me today is Sherry Allison of Senior Helpers and Cathy Murphy of Comfort Keepers. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So Sherry, tell us about the kinds of services that your two companies would provide.
Well, we're actually the same type of company. We do the exact same thing. We do anything that the senior needs at any one point in time, and that can include bathing, dressing, cooking, cleaning, transportation, medication reminders, cognitive issues. We take care of all that. Anything they need.
So does this always happen in their homes?
No, it can be anywhere. Any type of facility, hospital, rehab center, wherever the senior needs help.
Okay, that's terrific. That's great to know. And I know that you've been in the industry for over 11 years.
Yes.
And Cathy, you've been in the industry for over 17 years.
That's correct.
And so I think one of the big misconceptions that people have is that, oh, this is just paid for by insurance or Medicare or Medicaid. Can you elucidate us on that?
I will. I would say the first thing that individuals need to do is they need to start planning for their loved ones. And what that means really is to find out the intent of their loved ones, where they want to be when they age in place. And then to dig a little bit deeper in terms of their finances. Too often people think the services that we are providing are paid for by Medicare or by Medicaid. And it's important to know that Medicaid is different in every state. It's a state program versus Medicare. So what your aunt might have received in Colorado might be totally different in terms of benefits in Florida.
So if she moves here, for example, you're going to have to research what the benefits are in this state. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
And both of you help with that, right?
Yes.
You will help them figure out how to get it paid for.
Well, what often we will do is we have a number of resources. We know the community resources, Sherry and I do. So we will align our clients and their families to the proper resources, the true subject matter experts in that area.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I also VA benefits.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Sherry?
There are some rules and regulations within it, but if there is a veteran or a surviving spouse of a veteran, there is potential for income per month.
To help assist.
To help assist in home health.
So, I think sometimes people wonder, why would they need this? But, the truth is, I have two wonderful in-laws who are 85 and 86, and thank God they're healthy as they can be. But and they're in their mid-80s. But I anticipate, maybe 10 years from now, they might need some assistance. They're both extremely independent. I know for them, they definitely would want to stay in their own home. And what are the advantages of that?
Well, for cognitive issues, there's less likely that they would go into the next stage of cognitive dysfunction.
By staying home.
By staying home, because every time you move somebody, it causes more confusion for them. They're comfortable in their own home. And like my mother says, I want to die in my own home.
Right.
And if that's your option and that's what you choose, we see that you have that, you get to that option.
That's
fulfilled.
wonderful. So Cathy, What do you find most gratifying about this work? I know you've had over 1,000 clients through the years. What do you find most gratifying?
You know, that's really a good question, Snowden. And each and every day I sometimes ask my staff to just sort of stop and to think about the number of lives that we impact every day. We have served over 1,200 families in the years we've been in business. And so it's not only those clients, but it's their loved ones. It's their daughters, it's their sons. They're able to continue with their own family life, to go on and be that perfect mom, wife, husband, you know, because we relieve the stress that they have in taking care of their loved ones. And not only that, we employ a lot of people between Sherry and I. And so we're helping families to put, you know, food on their tables and have a meaningful and career, so that they know that they're impacting others as well in a very positive way.
And you're impacting the greater Jacksonville economy by employing those people. So you're contributing to that in many ways as well. How about you, Sherry? I know you've had some wonderful stories from some of your employees. Anything you'd like to share with us as far as the story goes?
Well, there are wonderful stories, but the other thing that you have to also consider is when the daughter doesn't have to be the caregiver any longer for her mother, she can become the daughter again, and that's a relationship that is sustainable and is a wonderful relationship that no one needs to give up. And when we become the caregivers, she can become the daughter again, and it's real important. Anytime that I'm a little bit down, I find that if I go visit one of my clients, and when you talk to a World War II veteran who was held in prison at age 17, 18 years old, it changes your whole attitude about life.
It does.
And it really gives you a new perspective.
It definitely does. Well, thank you both. We're going to have the information about where they can get a hold of Comfort Keepers and Senior Helpers on the Buzz TV website. And we so appreciate all that you do for the community. Thank you for everything that you've shared with us, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Are you looking for a new employment opportunity, an employee opportunity, a company vehicle, paid holidays and vacations, a retirement plan? Please visit jackshandymanjobs.com. That's jackshandymanjobs.com to learn more and apply.
In our Blazing Trails segment today, you're going to learn all about how you can afford to send your kids to college. With me today is Michelle Larson of Knowledge for College. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So tell us about how parents these days, I mean, this is a big issue. I mean, I have nephews now, nieces and nephews who are going to college or planning what they're going to do, and they're looking at mountains and mountains of debt. And parents who have multiple children and they want to send their kids to college, they want to do well by them, but they're looking at $100,000, $200,000 to do this. What can families do about that?
So I believe in being prepared. So I feel like sometimes we're on this little conveyor belt, like, oh, they're juniors in high school or they're seniors in high school, and now we start looking for colleges. And we just look at kind of the name brand colleges. And what I'm saying is, let's take a step back and let's find out. I believe we go to college to get a job, so let's find out what the student is suited to do so we can get out in 4 years. Let's do some research on the best fit college, not only for the student but financially, and put a little research in it. You're about to spend $100,000. So let's take a little time and not just do it because it's time to do it. Let's put some thought behind it, and that's what I help families do.
So we've all heard of people who, you know, the kid goes to college, they spend a year trying this, spend a year trying that, they're in college for 6 years.
Right.
You're trying to prevent that.
Exactly. Usually the 5th and, dare I say, the 6th year are the most expensive college years that you can have.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you started Knowledge for College 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yes.
So tell us about Knowledge for College and what you do.
So what I actually do is I help families really manage the complicated funding and admissions process. So again, we start out working with the students one-on-one, helping them find the best fit college, talking about how to pay for college for all 4 years. So many of my families come in and say, okay, we've got the first year covered and we'll worry about next year. Well, next year always comes.
It comes really fast too, right? You're not prepared.
We end up panicking because we don't have a plan in place. So that's what we really help our families do. typically we can save our families $8,000 to $20,000 off their cost of college. So
wow, and that's because you're doing advanced planning and analysis of what the students' interests are. How is it that you're able to save them that money?
So finding the best fit is probably the critical piece, and finding out which schools are willing to give your child the most money, because that varies from school by school.
Yes.
And oftentimes people don't consider, for example, a private school because the sticker price is such that they say, my goodness, I couldn't afford $25,000, I'm not going to pay $60,000.
Right.
But what I show families is that sometimes those private schools are actually less out of pocket than the public schools, regardless of what the sticker price says.
And why is that?
That's because they have merit aid. And so if you take a smaller private school, let's say, who you have a bright student, for example, you take a smaller private school who wants to raise up their average scores, they're going to give you money to come there. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see.
So we have to find that good fit, and if it's not academic or athletic, I help them find the good fit and look for those schools that want their student and their kind of student, so we can maximize their aid award.
So can you give us an example, without saying the specific student's name, but let's call him Thomas.
Okay.
So can you give us an example of Thomas, one of the people that you've worked with, and what has happened as a result of that?
Sure. I can think of one example from a couple of years ago. I had a young man come in, and he was very bright. Told me he wanted to go to Columbia and Stanford and locally, University of Florida. And so we were chatting, and I was talking to him about what he wanted to do, and he's going to go on to get his doctorate. And I said, well, you know, if you go, for example, to Columbia, it's filled up with people who are national merit finalists who match all your statistics. I said, why don't you try FSU or University of South Florida? Let's try a school that's going to be happy to have you. And believe it or not, they will roll out the red carpet for you. You know, and that's what we want. He got to meet with the president of the college. He got to pick his major. He got to go on a out of the country on a foreign trip.
Yes,
with the school.
Oh, wow.
So it's been fabulous, and he wouldn't have thought about that. They were prepared to pay $60,000 at Columbia, and we were able to show him how he could go for college for a lot less than that. The dirty little secret is, it doesn't matter where you go to college. Your major is more important than your college. And
the major that you pick.
That you pick.
Before you even enter.
Before you enter, or what you graduate with, I would say.
Why?
Because in hiring decisions, they look at your major rather than where you went to school.
Really?
Yeah, especially for an undergraduate degree. There's no reason to pay hundreds of $1,000s for an undergraduate degree.
Well, you know, that's funny, because I know so many people who went to college for one thing but are doing something completely different now.
Right.
So, but it is that important these days.
Yeah, it is.
And what are the hot majors then these days?
Well, of course, anything in STEM.
STEM, I was just going to say, STEM has got to be it.
But logistics is a really hot major.
Oh, yeah.
Anything medical, nursing is very good. Engineering certainly is good. All of those types of majors are great majors.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle. Knowledge for College, and you'll be able to find out more about Knowledge for College on the JacksonvilleBuzz.com website. So appreciate you, and we hope that you'll get your child into college and be able to afford having them go and have them have a successful outcome. Coming up next is our Success Spark segment.
Enjoy doing Home and Garden TV with you, but you know, you can't take Home and Garden TV in the car, in the boat, or out jogging. Thankfully, we have Home and Garden Radio. Home and Garden Radio shows heard every single Saturday from 6 a.m. until 8 a.m. on News 104.5 WOKV. Hope you'll join us then. And again, it's News 104.5 WOKV Saturdays, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. See you then.
This is the Success Spark segment of Ignite Success. And with me today is Terry Thompkins. Terry is an internationally renowned artist. She's also an author of a new book called Master the Artist Within. And you're going to learn all sorts of things about how you can bring your artist to the forefront. Welcome, Terry.
Hi, good morning.
So, Terry, I know you do a wide variety of different kinds of paintings. You've had some environmental themes, you've done nature themes, and you do portraits. So, what inspires you?
Oh, different things at different times. I love to paint people, and I also go out plein air painting a lot, so I love painting out in the environment. So I'm a little schizophrenic in that I tend to go back and forth between classical oil painting and a more illustrative style that's inspired by the environment, the Guardian series.
Right. So, and I think we've got some examples of that that'll show up on the screen so people can see what your art is like.
Right.
And I know you were one of the few artists who were selected to go to Disney World.
Well, Epcot.
Epcot. Okay.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit.
Well, like you said, I was part of a group of artists invited to paint during the Arts in the Garden event.
Fabulous.
Yeah, for a few years. It was just amazing. We would go down and stay in a resort and just paint all day, like 9-hour days for 3 days in a row, and got to answer questions and let little kids come up and paint. And that was really fun. So we were outdoors doing plein air painting. So it was all about painting the environment live.
And you do private commissions of people as well for portraits or for any kind of painting?
Yes. And I run the figure session, the anatomy classes at the St. Augustine Art Association. So I'm always painting faces or people or bodies or teaching people to do that. And I'm also now the resident artist at Flagler Hospital.
Oh, which is terrific.
We provide art classes for people going through the cancer experience. So,
oh, wow, because art is very healing.
Yes, of course, on many levels, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically even.
So I know you've written this great new book, Master the Artist Within.
It's actually The Master Artist Within.
Oh, I'm
But you were close.
Sorry.
Close
It's The
enough.
Master Artist Within.
But if someone was looking it up on Amazon to buy it, it would be called The Master Artist Within, The Art and Science of Redirecting Creative Energy.
So why did this? And by artist here, you're referring to writers, sculptors, painters, designers, any kind of art, right?
Anything and everything can be an art form. The way you take care of your family, the way you plant a garden, plumbers, artists, actors, performers, writers in particular, and
so why do they need to master? Why do they need to get in touch with the Master Artist Within?
Well, they don't need to, but if they want to, then I have the perfect book.
So what inspired the book?
Well, it was based on my doctoral treatise, actually. I had a lifelong desire to learn, well, what is creative mastery? Why are some people born to be Mozart, Shakespeare, Da Vinci, whereas others of us just tend to struggle along? And I wanted to find the source of divine inspiration and that kind of mastery that seems to produce works that become more magical with time. Rather than being temporarily fashionable or temporarily impressive, they stand the test of time because they have that soul energy that just continues to uplift people generation after generation. So
often I know, I mean, as an author, and they talk about writer's block, and they, and so that kind of concept, writer's block, occurs for every kind of artist. Is that right?
Absolutely, it does. And part 2 of the book, I break it down to 12 different kinds of creative blocks, fears, challenges, limitations, and then in part 3 of the book, people will find techniques and exercises for actually transforming the energy of those creative limitations into their next level of creative mastery.
So you shift.
Yes. So it not only dissipates the creative fears or whatever the challenge is, but it actually transforms the energy into new creative ability. So it's kind of amazing how it works.
Well, it's wonderful. I mean, I know that I know the book is terrific. I've read it. It's wonderful, and there's a lot of great tips and tools for any of you artists out there. And I know you also are the resident artist at Neff's Jewelers. Is that right, in St. Augustine?
Well, My work is shown. They represent me. Neff
Okay.
Jewelry and Gallery in St. Augustine. It's at 7 Rhodey Avenue in St. Augustine. And in fact, I'm going to have a book signing the next couple of Uptown Saturday night sessions. We're open late till 9 o'clock the last Saturday of the month.
Terrific.
So I'll be showing my work and doing a book signing there. And I feel really lucky to show there because there's an amazing goldsmith, Dan Neff, always creating beautiful works. And Jan, his wife, is the gemologist and a jewelry designer as well. And so there's a lot of creative mastery going on in this place. So please
Wonderful.
come see us.
Well, you'll find out more about Terry when you go to the JacksonvilleBuzz.com, and you'll find out her website and how to get in touch with her. Thanks for sharing your beautiful art with us, and we hope that it will help you connect with the master artist inside. Coming up next is Keep the Fire Burning.
Hey, let me tell you about my friend Craig O'Neill. He's the official photographer here at Buzz Media. He specializes in commercial photography for all those kind of needs. Check him out online at CraigO'NeillPhotography.com. And if you're lucky, you get a sweet lid like I have.
This is the Keep Your Fire Burning segment, and I want to talk today about you. Yes, you. You are a powerful, dynamic woman who gets things done, but you're busy. You may be managing a department or running your own company or moving up the ladder in your career. You probably have children that you have to take care of, a husband or a partner. You may also be involved with the care of your elderly parents. You're involved with nonprofit work, you volunteer perhaps at your child's school, and you try and fit in some of your exercise as well. You're busy, you get things done, and if you don't stop and really take care of yourself, you can burn out, you can get sick, and then you can't be any good to anybody else. So I want to talk today about one of the issues that I see with women all over the country and some of my coaching clients, and it shows up in terms of not setting boundaries. Boundary setting is so important. Learning how to say no. And it shows up like this. You, because you're a busy, effective person who accomplishes a great deal, are asked to be on other boards of directors, other committees, take on additional work at the office. And so you have to learn a graceful and easy way to set limits for yourself so that you can honor yourself and your time and do your work with excellence. I get asked to be on a lot of boards. I serve right now on several boards of directors, and I also do a lot of different kinds of service and community work. So when someone asks me, as they did on Monday, to be on another committee or another board of directors, I've learned this technique that may be useful for you. What I say is, thank you so much for asking me. I'm honored and humbled. However, I have a great deal on my plate right now, and I can't give your organization the kind of attention and service that it deserves. I'm happy to recommend someone else, or you can ask me again in a year. Thank you so much. Hopefully that's a graceful and easy exit, and I've had some of my coaching clients try it and it's worked well for them. If you get asked at work to do something that is not in your normal frame of reference and your description of your job, you have a choice. Is it something that will enhance and elevate your career? For example, if you get asked by your boss or a major client to take on another project, you may opt to do it. But if it's just somebody else shoving their work onto you, politely push back and say, I'm sorry, I'm very busy with XYZ project. I can't do that for you at this time. And you can maybe let them know when you would be available or just say no. Another skill set that goes hand in hand with this is asking for help. Sadly, women do not do that nearly enough. We need to ask for help clearly, specifically, and gratefully. So it might show up like this. Let's say you've just landed a big account and you're going to be very busy. You may even be late getting home for dinner. So you might ask your son Thomas to take care of the dog. And you want to be very specific in your request not demand, but in your request. And you say to Thomas, Thomas, I need your help. Could you please, when you get home from school, take Rover for a walk and feed him his dinner? It would be a tremendous help to me. Thomas will usually be delighted to do that for you, but you can't micromanage the way Thomas does it. It's just the fact that he does it is important, and you want to thank him for doing it. Done is better than perfect. Same thing at the office. If you need help from one of your coworkers, colleagues, team members, or employees, you say, for example, Susan, I need your help. Could you please assist me with doing the statistical analysis and research on XYZ? I need that by, and you give them a date, and you tell them what format you want it in. And when Susan delivers it back to you, you thank Susan profusely and tell her how much you appreciate it. At home, ask your husband or partner for help as well. Let them know what's going on in your life and say to them, I need your help. I'm not going to be able to get dinner on the table this next month like I normally do. Could you please help make dinner 3 nights a week? Maybe we could get a meal service. Maybe we could do takeout. Maybe we could have one of those grocery services that comes in with pre-made meals. Find solutions. Usually our partners are delighted to help us if they know what's going on. So the key here is to be specific, not try and micromanage it, not be the control freak, and spend time thanking the people who help you out. I want you to continue to be able to do all the great things that you do. So learn how to say no, set boundaries, and ask for help, and keep your fire burning.
Are you looking for a new employment opportunity, an employee opportunity, a company vehicle, paid holidays and vacations, a retirement plan? Please visit jackshandymanjobs.com. That's jackshandymanjobs.com to learn more and apply.
This is Ignite Success from Buzz TV. We hope you've enjoyed the show today. You've had an opportunity to learn all about how you can get the home care your parents need covered and paid for, and what kinds of services you want to have from that. You've also learned about innovative ways to approach sending your child to college and finding ways to make it affordable. And you've learned about tools that can help you access the master artist within. I've shared with you some information about saying no, setting boundaries, and asking for help. This show is for women, about women, and we want to hear from you. So please enjoy what we have to offer, share the practical tips and tools, and ignite your success.